Hello my friends! Today's video is going to be very special since I will be sharing my personal journey of how I achieved a 6-digit income in my mid-20s in USD terms. Now before we dive in, I just wanted to make it clear that it's not about bragging or showing off. I'm well aware that many individuals have achieved greater financial success at much younger age than me. My intention here is really to be open, transparent, and relatable. I hope that by sharing my story, I can offer inspiration and motivation to some of you, encouraging you to take greater control of your finances. For those friends who we haven't met before, my name is Charlene. I'm a CFA charter holder with a decade of experience in finance industry across Beijing, Hong Kong, Singapore, and currently I'm based here in Zurich, Switzerland. Simplifying finance and empowering everyday people to work towards financial independence and freedom is something I'm really passionate about. Let's get started. I still remember my first monthly salary after graduating from my master's degree in my early 20s, 21 or 22, 21 and a half years old. It was 16,000 Hong Kong dollars, about 2,000 USD. So it's less than 30K per year in USD terms. At that time, I was living in a small subdivided apartment in Hong Kong, and my room was only about 5 square meters. But through working hard as well as working smart, which I believe is definitely more important, I was lucky enough to hit 6 digits, 100K by mid-20s. Today, I just wanted to be transparent with you, sharing top 3 secrets or tips from my journey. Stay until the end because the third tip, in my opinion, is the game changer. Let's kick things off. First tip, pursue high demand skills in your early 20s. I graduated with a bachelor degree in Chinese literature in Beijing and with a master's degree in journalism in Hong Kong. I learned nothing about finance in university. As I studied in Hong Kong, I became increasingly certain that my ultimate goal was to work in finance. However, the job market even a decade ago was fiercely competitive. Even graduates with finance degrees they struggle to secure positions in those leading financial firms like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, or HSBC, UBS, Credit Suisse. Considering my background in literature, journalism with limited fluency in local language, Cantonese, or even English back then, I knew it won't be easy. I knew that I was unqualified for those positions in international investment banks or asset management firms. Luckily, in the end, thanks to my journalism background, I managed to secure a position, a banking journalist, covering the stock market in Hong Kong. As I entered this new world, I found myself struggling with complex financial terminologies and concepts, feeling like a fish out of water. What is the stock? What is index? What is ETF? What is the derivatives? I really didn't know. Every day back then, I was really suffering and I really needed finance knowledge and skills in order to survive in my career. So in my very early 20s, I made a decision to start a journey of self-study for the CFA charter holder certificate. It is true that debates even continue today about the value of such certifications. Some argue that as you gain more experience over the years, their significance might diminish, which I totally agree. However, in the early stage of your career, having a certification like CFA can set you apart from your peers and demonstrate your dedication to the field. The CFA journey was no walk in the park, and it's your commitment. I sacrificed many parties, drinks, fun times with friends. Being someone without a finance background, it was really hard for me. However, the rewards were quite significant as well. Looking back, I'm confidently say that this demanding journey proved to be very helpful to me, both personally and professionally. It played a crucial role when I decided to switch jobs and ultimately paved the way for me to join JP Morgan in Hong Kong. In conclusion, I believe that early in your career, no matter which industry you're in, engineering, technology, construction, education, pursuing relevant qualification can be a wise decision. especially when you don't have much work experience to differentiate yourself from your peers. Those certifications can be very helpful in showing your commitment and dedication, especially for individuals like me who don't have a specific degree in a certain area. In my opinion, it's a smart investment, even if it means sacrifice your after work time and skipping drinks and parties for a bit. The next secret is diversify your income by side hustles and investments. In my previous video, I discussed 5 habits that keep you poor and hold you back from getting rich. In that video, I share my tips to build up different income streams. Relying on one income source can be devastating at certain points in life, so it's crucial, in my opinion, to diversify and create multiple sources of income. If you haven't watched the video yet, make sure you do so after. So for me personally, side hustles and investing were 2 game-changing strategies for me back then. About 3 years into my career, I decided to venture into a side hustle as a finance content writer for small and medium-sized firms in Hong Kong. You know my job back then, I was a finance journalist. One advantage of being a journalist was the great exposure I had to the industry. Through conducting interviews with high-level individuals, I not only developed lifelong friendships and mentors, but also discovered some nice side hustles. Some of these opportunities including writing investment newsletters and portfolio review reports for some financial firms, which added to my income streams. Furthermore, during that time, I also held a part-time position as a piano teacher for 2 children in Hong Kong. I spent 2 hours each week teaching them how to play the piano. In addition to side hustles, investing wisely was another key aspect of my financial journey. Some may question whether it's feasible to invest when starting out with very little earnings, but I can assure you that it's possible and highly beneficial. Even in my early days, my first salary, like I said, was about 2,000 USD per month. After covering my essential expenses like rent, food, transportation, I still have around 500 left. I chose to invest most of it into stock market, primarily focusing on ETFs covering US, Europe, and Asia. As my income grew, so did my investments. These additional sources of income indeed boosted my overall earnings and financial stability. So I encourage you to take the step into developing other sources of income, as they can make a significant difference in your financial journey. Be assertive when negotiating your salary. I need to admit that in my mid-20s, the salary from my corporate job remained to be the biggest portion of my overall income, and I almost tripled my salary in about 4 years through negotiation. To break down my income distribution during my mid-20s, roughly 65 to 70% came from my full-time job, another 25% from side hustles, including writing finance reports and working as a piano teacher, and the remaining 5 to 10% from the investment income. Now let's dive into the most significant component, my corporate salary. Do you ever find that in your career you perform better than many of your colleagues? However, a lot of them end up making more money than you do. The third point, which is the most important one that I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, is to be assertive, even to be aggressive when negotiating your salary. It's something I deeply experienced in myself and among my close friends. Many people hold the belief that if they work hard, perform well, and achieve good results, their boss or supervisors will appreciate them and reward them with promotion and salary raise. But let me tell you, that's not how it works. Capitalists are ugly. And if you don't ask for more, they will never give you a raise. In Chinese, we have a phrase called 会哭的孩子有奶喝, which means the crying child gets milk to drink, implying that those people who express their needs or emotions are more likely to receive support. Too many people are held back by their pride or cannot find the words to speak up, but they're just simply waiting. waiting to be seen, waiting to be found, waiting to be promoted, and as a result, they stuck with the same title and same pay. I understand that in many large corporations, the promotion system may not be as flexible as in smaller companies. However, ultimately, when you believe you have the bargaining power and deserve a higher salary, just ask for it. In the end, as long as we still work for corporates and our 9-to-6 job or 9-to-5 job is our employer's passive income. So be assertive, be aggressive, and don't be afraid to stand up for what you deserve. Don't let your fear or hesitation hold you back from reaching your full potential. That's also how I tripled my salary in corporate world in 4 years. Invest in yourself, building up your bargaining power, and keep asking for what you deserve. Great! I really hope my personal journey and the 3 key tips I've shared in today's video can provide some inspiration for young individuals like you. Now let's have a recap. My journey from earning a modest salary of $30K USD in my early 20s to reaching a 6-figure income by mid-20s was not just luck. It requires a combination of hard work, dedication, and some little negotiating tactics. Pursuing high-demand hard skills early in my career through CFA certification opened doors for opportunities I wouldn't have had otherwise. Embracing side hustles and investing wisely allowed me to diversify my income sources and grow my wealth steadily. However, the most crucial lesson I've learned along the way is the importance of being assertive when negotiating salaries. Advocating for your worth in the workplace can be intimidating, but it's essential to take the initiative and ask for what you deserve. Remember, the crying kid gets the milk, and if you don't voice your value, you may miss out on well-deserved opportunities. Hey, remember my previous video about the top 5 money habits that keep you poor? If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. You might want to make sure you are not falling into those traps. Your wealth journey will thank you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. Drop a comment below with any questions or share your own money stories. I'd love to hear from you, and I will make sure to reply to you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, see you soon.